we're setting it all up for you. Very good morning, everyone, and my name is Kieran Swale. I'm a Tourism Innovation Specialist at Southern Regional College, the Business Support Team, and a few of my colleagues are in the room this morning. So we're delighted to be supporting this fantastic Northern Ireland Small Business Conference. And could I ask you to take a wee note in the top right-hand corner there, because we do want to, whether we can get this worldwide or not, but if you can, tweet NI Small Business Conf. You can see it up there on the hashtag. So if you're going to do any social media sharing, which is what you're going to be encouraged to do this morning, that's the first thing. So just in terms of questions this morning, if there will be an opportunity, we're going to have 3 speakers who I'll introduce shortly, and there will be an opportunity at the end to ask questions. We'll invite, each speaker is going to speak for about 15 minutes, and then we'll invite the 3 speakers to come up on the stage, and then Jessica and Jarlath are going to have microphones, and we'll take questions from the floor. We'll have about 15 minutes for questions. But now on to today's panel. We've an excellent lineup, and first of all, we're going to have Emma Gribben. Emma's the Commercial Director from Alchemy Digital Training, and Emma's topic is Advanced Social Media for Your Business. And followed by Emma, then we're going to have Get Your Brand Seen, Heard and Noticed, and that's from Henry McCrory and Chris McLennan, who are part of Creative 3 Media. And then Ruth Robinson. Ruth is Director of Full Circle Management Solutions. Ruth's going to address talking about selling cross-border. So, really interesting topics coming up. Let's get started then, Emma. If you're good to go, Emma, could I invite you to the stage? Thank you.
Thank you, Kieran. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Emma Gribben, the Commercial Director of Alchemy Digital Training, and we're delighted to be delivering the Digital Growth Programme here within the Council area. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that today. But basically today I want to talk to you about social media, and we're delighted to have this opportunity. And Elaine McAlinden said, can you do a masterclass in 15 minutes? And I says, well, I'll give it my best shot. So I've got lots of content for you today, but a bit of a disclaimer, don't feel you need to write everything down, because I do believe that the presentations are being made available after today. So we've got lots of hints and tips that hopefully you will benefit from and that you can take away. So today I want to talk to you about social media. It is a topic that a lot of our businesses on the Digital Growth Programme are really keen to learn about. It's one of the core elements that we get started with, because obviously it has such a key presence. And today I want to talk to you about 4 key areas. We're going to look at some social media trends, so things that absolutely do need to be on your radar for the year ahead. And then also I'm going to go through a couple of social media tools, things that we'd recommend to clients, a couple of approaches that we take, and then I'm just going to share with you how a local company here, NISBC, went through the programme and how they benefited in terms of their social media. Okay, so let's start off with a couple of trends. The first one I just want to highlight is how important it is for businesses to have a social media strategy in place, because right now there are more social media users than there have ever been before. So hopefully it is high on your agenda, but if you're sitting here thinking, I don't actually have a plan, I don't have a document that I follow, I don't have a process, believe me, now is the time for that. So social media users are at an all-time high, and in the last year, from 2021 to 2022, we have seen that there's been nearly a 9% growth in the number of social media users, and that equates to nearly 5 million people. So now's the time to use all of the social media channels that you need to be utilising for your business. Now, the other thing as well is we're seeing a good level of engagement, nearly 2 hours per day we're spending individually in social media. So that's a really big opportunity for your company. So the first thing is that if you're not using it already, if you feel you're not using it properly, make sure that you make that one of your priorities after today, one of your takeaways from today's conference. Let's move more into the actual tactical things of what you should be doing when on social media. So as we know, the COVID pandemic had us at home, Googling, buying online, doing our grocery shopping through Asda or Tesco where we could, and we've come to rely on e-commerce. And that hasn't changed. Now that we can thankfully get out and about, and it's great that we're all here today as well, we still want that convenience. And social commerce is a really big important factor, and it should be on your agenda if you can sell through social media. So what we're seeing is that platforms are making it so easy for brands to position their content, to tag their products. And if we even just look at Instagram here, Instagram has so many ways that you can tag your product in your reels, in your stories, in your feed-based posts, in your video content. So all of the functionality is there, but businesses need to make sure that they're using that properly, that they have a Facebook shop and Instagram shop set up. And also, I've just shared here a local example from Zen, and I'm going to talk to you in a little bit more detail about them today in terms of what they have done. But this is just a really simple example of Zen promoting one of their product ranges, having their products tagged. It's a really simple journey that users can click through, see that product, and then buy online. So no telephoning anybody, no getting into the car, leaving the house. Some of us might think that's a bit too easy. I know I do at the end of the month when I wonder where all of my money has gone. But this is really, really important for the months ahead. One thing I want to highlight is not just restricted to Instagram. We're seeing a lot of success on Pinterest as an e-commerce platform as well. So you may or may not be aware Pinterest has got the facility for a shop. So this is an example of a business that we worked with that has got a shop on their Pinterest platform. You can go and look at your products. You can see here the price and the link to go through and buy. And that's a really lovely journey, just where it takes visitors through to the website. So all of these opportunities are there, consumers are looking for them, but we need to make sure that we're embracing them and using them within our organisation. The next trend I just want to share with you is about the creator economy. And when we're talking about creators, I don't just mean influencers, people who have 20 or 40,000 followers. When we think about the creator economy, there's about 50 million people right now who classify themselves as creators. That may be, yes, in the traditional sense, an influencer, a marketer, but it can also be people who are really passionate about a particular topic, and that might be their hobby, for example. And recently we've worked with a lot of organisations who have tapped into that potential, and they have given influencers basically the chance to work with their company, to experience their products, to really see what they think about them in a genuine way, and then to create some content. And it has been phenomenal. The return on ad spend that we've got there has outweighed any of the advertising that we've done for those clients themselves. So what we're thinking about when we're talking about creators is, yes, the influencer marketers, but people who maybe are passionate about cooking, sewing, baking, home interior accounts, because they have that passion. They're naturally good at building that content, so it might be worthwhile partnering your brand with them also. Thankfully, social media allows us a lot of opportunities to do this in a strategic way. And here are just some of the places where you can find and connect with the creators. So TikTok has got, of course, the Creator Marketplace. Instagram has got the Instagram Collab Center. Of course, you can do branded content ads. Facebook has similar offerings. And then with Twitter, you have paid super follows. So followers can actually help you generate some revenue through that. So there are many ways that you can partner with other people and other brands. But whenever we are looking at doing that, quite often with the businesses that come to us in the Digital Growth Programme, they're like, we want to do that, but like, do we just lift the phone and ring them? Or how do we actually get in touch with them? So what we would say is that there has to be a fairly straightforward process in terms of you have to find the right influencer for your business, somebody that has a natural fit, because they're going to be creating content for you. And also then give them a trial of your product or service outside and away from that promotion that they're doing for you. Make sure they genuinely like what you're offering, and speak to them about that. And do you know what? They might come back and say, that wasn't for me. You're better knowing that instead of them pushing something that they don't really believe in. And then from there, you want to, hopefully, if they're happy to move forward, give them some of your key messages, because they are carrying forward your brand. So quite often we share like a briefing document with the collaborators and say, like, here's our key messages that we'd like you to communicate, but in your own words, so that they're very clear and they don't end up saying something that's kind of veering off from what your brand message would be. The other thing is that we want to make sure it's measurable. So yes, it's fantastic for brand awareness, but what about creating something that is measurable, like a discount code or a special product bundle or an incentive that's just exclusively for that piece of activity? So discount codes are really, really easy to set up, particularly if you're using WooCommerce or Shopify. And we're seeing that a lot of businesses can track the traction that they get. But the other thing too is make sure you get them to send you their content, because remember, they're creating loads of visuals and videos, and you can repurpose that on your own social, on your website, and also in advertising. But quite often, whenever we're working with businesses, they're looking the next day, what was the result, or in a week's time. And that's good. Yes, you want to see that straight away. But we would also say look at the longer term impact on that. What's the result within 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months? And that's where you can really see the full effect of that piece of activity. So that's, I suppose, our approach around the influencer and the content creators. But then, of course, I couldn't talk to you today about trends without mentioning the need to have a reasonable budget for social media advertising. We try to position it in a way that is kind but also very realistic, is that you need to have a budget in order to reach new potential customers. And quite often businesses come to us, they're like, we're posting every day, but we're just not seeing that traction. So let's talk about this for a moment. Realistically, in order to get to where you need to be on social media nowadays, you do need to have an ad strategy, and you need to have some money that you can invest in that. If we're relying just on organic, let's say Facebook, for example, on average about 5% of your page followers see your frequent posts. Now, I have worked with brands where it is more than that, and their content's very effective, but that's not really what I think anyone in this room is aiming for. We want better than that. So what we would say is to have a strategic approach to advertising. There's two main reasons why organic just won't do the full job for us. Number one is that there's so much content on social media. If we look here, actually over 500,000 comments are posted every minute on Facebook. Like, that's a little bit mind-blowing when we think about the volume of content. So for people just to find your stuff organically, it is quite a challenge. And the other thing is, of course, we have personalised news feeds, so we get to see the content that's most relevant to us. So as a brand, we suggest that people take that power that advertising gives you, focus on your core audiences, and also be very clear about what you want to achieve. So what is your ideal cost per acquisition? And that's something that a lot of businesses don't really have a clear idea on when they come to us. So we would ask them, how much are you willing to spend in order to acquire a new customer? Then whenever we're running ads, yes, it is important to look at impressions and reach. Also things like how much engagement your ads are getting, link clicks, cost per link click, purchases, and then the all-important return on ad spend. So for every pound that you're spending in advertising, what are you getting back in sales? The other thing is as well, we go through this process with our mentees where it's thinking about the customer journey. So sometimes businesses say, well, yeah, we boost posts, we do advertising, thinking this is great, we can tick that box. But in reality, we're saying, let's look at it strategically and bring people through that customer journey. So people at the top of the funnel, they might not be aware of you yet. So that's a cold audience. So there's certain campaigns that will run really well there. You want to get them engaging and take them through to the middle of the funnel, really communicate why they should choose you over your competitors, and then nurture them through to the bottom of the funnel. So this is something that you might want to take away from today. This is looking at Facebook objectives in relation to what stage of the funnel you're trying to reach. So top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, certain campaigns and objectives will work better there than others. Okay, so whenever we're thinking about social media, there are some key trends that we always try to take our mentees through. And then we try to just be helpful in terms of giving them some tools, and I wanted to share some of these with you today. So when it comes to social media, there's any amount of apps and tools out there that do a really fantastic job, but some of the core ones you just can't go wrong with. Now, I am going to start quite basically, but I can't promote this enough because Grammarly is a fantastic tool. You can install it as a Chrome extension, and that will review everything that you create online. So all of our Facebook posts, Instagram posts, emails, etc., Grammarly is checking that for typos, grammatical errors before they go live. So God knows what you'd be reading today if it wasn't for Grammarly on this screen. Also then, in terms of design, some businesses are really lucky to have an in-house design team, which is fantastic. They can use their Photoshop skills, but quite often businesses who are managing their own social media don't have that resource. So we quite often set them up with Canva templates and give them some training on that. So I am a massive Canva fan. It's a photo editing tool and a design tool. You can use it for free, or you can pay for the corporate version at $10.99 a month. So I don't think you'll have to wrangle with the financial department to get that approved, thankfully. But the great thing about Canva is you can create your own brand kit. So you put in your own font and your own colours, and every design that you create, you can refer to that really, really easily. So it kind of keeps you on track and accountable. A couple of other things then, if we're working with a business that's really just working on their social media for the first time, or they haven't got an image bank with a photographer, they need copyright-free, royalty-free images. So the likes of Pexels and Pixabay is a really great place to get that. And if they want something that does look a bit more professional, like an actual graphic design, FreePic is a resource that we point them to. Maybe if you're making some updates to your website, icons help to tell that story. Again, this is a resource you can use for free, the flat icon. And then also when it comes to branding, you want to make sure your colours are complementary. So the Colour Lovers colour palette is a fantastic tool to do that. I am all for businesses getting out their smartphone, doing some photography, doing what they can, but there are tools that can help us make that look more professional, and the likes of Remove BG is a fantastic one for taking out that background in the photograph, and then you can do something a wee bit more fancy on Canva. And then on the go, we would use the likes of Photo Editor Pro and Adobe Spark. For anyone that uses Photoshop, is kind of like a little bit more of a sophisticated version of Canva. Ripple is one that we do recommend to clients if they don't have video content yet, because you can take images and stitch them together and add some text. So it's kind of like your low-hanging fruit for video content. But promo.com also does a great job where you can access some video footage and make professional looking videos. And Biteable is a competitor, one that we also recommend to promo, and then InStories is great for on the go. So as I said, don't feel you need to write all of these down, because we will make sure you get a copy of the presentation and the links are within that, so you can go through each one. Animoto is the one I'm wrapping up with, because it's what we use really commonly with clients for the likes of feed-based videos and also stories and corporate videos as well. So it's worth checking out also. So I just want to share with you two more things before I wrap up today. A couple of tips that we share with our mentees just for managing their social media. So when we work with businesses in the Digital Growth Programme, we're working with them for a set amount of time. That could be a couple of weeks or over the course of a month or two. And we want to give them the skills that they can continue to implement in their business. So that's just what I'm sharing with you today. And the first thing is just really clearly understanding where you are right now. What is your current position? And with Zendesk, I'll just share some results with them or from them in a second. We did a social media audit and we looked at all of their platforms and channels. From there, then we developed their content pillars. So this is where we help them to decide what they will be sharing on social media and to stick to that month after month. And what we would say is think outside of the box. There's lots of content formats that you can choose from. It doesn't just have to be image or video. And then we have worked with a local company, Enhanced Aesthetics, and I know Helen's here today. And Enhanced Aesthetics have gone through the Digital Growth Programme, and we help them to develop a bank of images that they can use, they can access through Canva. Then with that, we are helping them to line up their posts in advance so that there is a schedule, and of course bringing that through to social media so that they have that all planned and that there's something going out every couple of days. Of course, the most important part of this is making sure it all works. So checking your results, and that's something we obviously recommend that brands do on a monthly basis. So I just want to share with you for the next minute or so how a local company has benefited from the Digital Growth Programme. That company is the Zendesk. So the support that we provided to Zendesk was very much strategic and then practical. So we helped them with their e-commerce. We also looked at their social media. So in terms of social media, as you can see, we did the audit and also the content pillars. We helped them to come up with an influencer strategy and also look at their content. So as a result of what we were doing with them, we have seen some fantastic results. So growth in profile visits for both Facebook and Instagram, growth in followers, also growth in engagement, and a growth in their paid for ads. So they really took everything that we had suggested, they hit the ground running, and even the whole look and feel of the company has radically changed as a result of that. So this is just a sample of some of their recent social media content. It looks really, really professional. And as a result, Lisa has actually got a marketing team. So we have got 3 people who are focusing on marketing within their business now. And they're doing strategic content and seasonal content. So that is obviously a very quick roundup of some of the things that we would recommend and an example of how that has worked. But if you are a business within the council region and some of that sounds of interest to you, we'd love to hear from you. So the Digital Growth Programme is recruiting up until the end of September. So just go to our website, thedigitalgrowthprogramme.com. We've kept it fairly simple. And make your application online, and we'll review that and then come back to you and hopefully offer you some support like what you have seen today. So I will be available for some questions in the panel, so if there's anything you'd like to ask me then, I'll happily answer for you. Thank you.
That was fantastic, Emma. Thank you very much. I mean, really, what I love about this is practical tips, and there were so many there that I didn't know of. I mean, this concept of social commerce is really, really interesting. And do you know what? I didn't know Pinterest had a facility for shop. So I would always go into somewhere like Etsy if it was advising craft businesses. And this whole, again, the creator economy and the passion for that, really, really significant. And of course, you have to have a budget, and you made that very clear about the strategic. If you really want, you've got to be prepared to invest in that. I was smiling when you did Grammarly. Everybody else in the room, it works a treat. And there are others in the market as well, but I concur with you in that. And we use Canva within our business support team, and it's fantastic. In the room, if you haven't, and I don't have shares in that, but at least go have a look at that, because it is. I've used it recently for screen recording, and it's fantastic. Pexels, and there was lots of practical stuff there. And thank you for the example for Zen Day Spa. Okay, so as Emma rightly said, this presentation will be shared with everyone. So lots of practical tips there. Thanks again, Emma, and the importance of the opportunity to go in the digital growth programme there if you're in the council area. Now,